Good morning. We are going to pick up with the Battle of the Bagels. So if you've made it to this video, you're in the right spot. Hopefully you have a copy of this in front of you. If you are remote and on, this is obviously pulled up online. We are going to quickly review the article and then go through some comprehension questions. If you are remote learning, all I want you to do is plug in your answers for the questions in the space at the bottom of this page, and then I'll grade them that way, okay? So let's review real quick and then we'll get started. So Battle of the Bagel we read last week, and if you remember, it talked about how bagels are different if you are in Montreal, Canada, versus New York City. And the article really talked about how if you go to Montreal and you're used to New York City bagels, you're not going to like them. And then vice versa. If you go to New York City, their bagels are not at all what they're used to in Montreal. So if you remember, talked about different ways that bagels are made, machines that they use, and just how they think that bagels in Montreal are more donut-like compared to our bagels that we are used to here, okay? If we scroll down and look at some more of what we read, talked about how they use a wood-burning oven, how they created this years and years and years ago. And eventually, in our current time in New York City, they're making over 400 dozen bagels an hour, okay, which is really incredible. And so then the article kind of went to finish which ones are better. Well, it all kind of is based on where you are and what you're used to, okay? So we are going to flip over to the bagel questions right now. If you're in person, there's a copy of this up front on the table. If you did not get it yet, please make sure you grab that. And we're going to answer these questions on your own, but I am going to read through them. And here we go. Number 1, why did Bagelville go out of business? A, the Montrealers thought the bagels were too sweet. B, the Montrealers were thrilled about having New York-style bagels in town. C, the Montrealers did not like New York-style bagels. Or D, the Montrealers like bagels that are larger. Why did Bagelville go out of business? So in order to answer this, go back in your story and look. You can pause me and then pick up with number 2. Number 2, how does the author compare the two different types of bagels? A, Montreal bagels are more popular worldwide, while New York bagels are only popular in New York. B, Montreal bagels are similar and sweeter, while New York bagels are larger and fluffier. C, Montreal bagels are machine-made, while New York bagels are cooked in a wood-burning oven. Or D, Montreal bagels have very small holes in the middle, while New York bagels have large holes in the middle. How does the author compare the two bagels? Pause to answer number 2. Number 3, read the following sentence from the passage. Schlafman added, New Yorkers come to Montreal and reluctantly try our bagel and enjoy it somewhat, but when they get back, they feel better about the fact that they're home and can get what they call a real bagel. What conclusion does this sentence support? A, people tend to prefer the food-related traditions of their own cities. B, Schlafman believes New Yorkers are experts when it comes to making great bagels. C, people from different parts of the world have different opinions about New York City bagels. Or D, the author does not believe there is a superior bagel. Pause to answer number 3. Number 4, Erwin Schlafman of Fairmont Bagels describes the training process at his bagel shop. Based on his description, how does he feel about his work? A, competitive, B, proud, C, ashamed, or D, tired? How does Erwin Schlafman feel about his work? Pause to answer number 4. Question number 5. What is the main idea of this passage? So, overall, if we look at this entire passage, what's it about? A, New Yorkers insist that their bagels are better than those made in Montreal, even though their bagels are machine-made. B, bagel shops will continue to put each other out of business until they can determine which style of bagel is superior. C, there is no superior bagel, but people from New York and Montreal are proud of their cultures and are attached to their city's bagel style. Or D, the Montreal bagel is sweeter and chewier than the New York style bagel, which is larger and fluffier. What's the overall big picture idea of this article? Pause to answer number 5. Okay, number 6. Which of the following sentence, read the following sentence. Other cities across the world had been thrilled when New York bagels finally came to town, but the Montrealers were outraged. Bagelville, the new shop, went out of business and closed its door in less than a year. As it's used in this passage, what does the word outraged mean? A, furious. B, excited. C, unresponsive. Or D, competitive. What does the word outraged mean? Pause to answer number 6. Question number 7. Choose the answer that best completes the sentence below. At St. Viator Bagel Bakery, the workers can produce 40 dozen bagels in an hour. Blank, most New York City bagel bakeries use machines that can produce about 400 dozen an hour. Which word fits in that blank? A, on the other hand, B, primarily, C, as a result, or D, for instance. Pause to answer number 7. Okay, so we are going to answer number 8 and number 9. You can skip number 10, okay? Number 8 says, explain how Montreal bagels and New York style bagels are made. You can answer this in the space below, or just if you can squeeze your answer in here. They're made 2 separate ways. How are they made? Pause to answer this and write your answer down. Number 9. The author of the passage says the bagel wars are impossible to settle. What evidence does the author provide to support this conclusion? Pause to answer number 9. And again, you do not need to answer number 10. Once you are finished with these answers, you may turn them in. I would like your questions on top, story on the bottom. You can turn them into the substitute, and have a wonderful day, guys. I'll see you next week.